Hello, this is Cathy Cassidy and I'm here to read you another chapter of Angel Cake. And today it's chapter 18 with this very intriguing image at the top of the chapter, which I hope you can see, a pair of feet in fluffy slippers. And it's quite a dramatic chapter and quite a Christmassy chapter. So I've got my coffee. I think I'm just gonna dig straight in and get started. In the end, both Kasia and I set our boots out for St. Nicholas on the night of December the 5th. Leave the boots inside the door, Mum calls down. They'll be fine there. Do you really think he'll find us? My little sister asks. St. Nicholas, all the way over here in Liverpool. Of course. Kasia is not convinced. He might not be expecting boots here, she worries, and he might not even see them if we leave them inside. Outside would be better, no? I sigh. Okay, Kasia, he'll find them, I promise, but we can leave them outside if you want to. I open the door and set the 2 pairs of boots on the doorstep. There, all done, come on. I take her hand and we run up the stairs to the living room where Mum is waiting. How will he get here, Kasia wants to know. There's no snow for his sleigh. Shh, Kasia, he'll come when you are sleeping. Off to bed. Obediently, Kasia goes. Dad is working late again, very late tonight, but when we got back from school earlier, Mum was home, and the flat smelt of freshly baked gingerbread. I knew she'd remembered it was St. Nicholas's Day. Now Mum reaches into a drawer for a carrier bag that rustles thrillingly, rubbing her forehead with a palm. She has been getting headaches lately. I think she's working too hard. Mama, I ask, do you want me to do the boots? Or would you, Anya, love? I run downstairs and open the front door a crack. The street is quiet as I press tiny red apples down into the toe of each boot, then walnuts in their shells, handfuls of wrapped sweets and gingerbread wrapped in foil. I close the door softly, smiling as I think of Kasia finding them in the morning. Thank you, Anya, Mum whispers. I need to sleep, that's all. Remember, I'll already be at work when you get up. I took an early shift so I could be home this afternoon. Your dad won't be in for a while yet, so let him sleep in tomorrow. You take Kasia to school, okay? There's bread and jam so you can have toast for breakfast, something warm. Just don't be late for class. We won't, Mama. Please don't work too hard. I'll be fine, Anya, she promises. Sleep now. Good girl. I awake to the sound of quiet crying, and trust me, that's not usual on St. Nicholas's Day. I push back the covers and drag myself out of bed, and there is Kasia, alone at the kitchen table, sobbing her heart out. What is it, Kasia? I ask. Whatever's wrong? A muffled wail leaks out. All gone wrong, she gasps. I put an arm around my little sister and wipe her eyes. What happened? I ask again. Saint Nicholas, Kasia chokes out. Did he forget to come? I frown. Perhaps some passing drunk has helped himself to the sweets. Maybe Mum was right. We should have left the boots inside the door. It's worse, Kasia whispers, much worse. No apples, no gingerbread, no sweets. She tugs my hand, pulls me down the stairs and out onto the step. No, nothing, she wails, and finally the penny drops. I sink down onto the doorstep, dismayed. Some low-life loser has gone and nicked our boots. I suppose most girls have 3 or 4 pairs of boots and shoes. Some, like Lily Caldwell, probably have dozens, but Kasia and I, we have just 1 pair each. Oops, better make that no pairs now. Kasia grew out of her summer shoes before we flew to Liverpool, and my ballerina flats were so worn and scuffed I didn't bother to pack them. I knew my boots would take me through the first few weeks of school, and after that I imagined there would be any amount of new shoes and boots knew everything if we felt like it. It didn't quite work out that way. And now our boots have been stolen or kidnapped by the milkman or kicked around the streets and chucked into Prince's Park, boating lake perhaps, by drunks coming home in the early hours. Leaving boots on the doorstep on the night of December the 5th in Liverpool is clearly not a good idea. And now we have no shoes. Should we wake Dad? Kasia asks, but telling Dad is the very last thing I want to do. He has enough on his mind. As for Mum, well, maybe she left before the boots were taken this morning, or perhaps she just didn't notice at all. Either way, it's my fault. Mum told me to leave the boots inside the door, and I listened to Kasia and left them outside. Now they're gone, and all because of me. We won't tell Dad or Mama, okay? I tell Kasia. Not yet. I'll think of something, I promise. So Kasia pulls on her black canvas PE pumps, and I have to wear my fluffy slippers at least until I can get to school and drag the trainers out from my locker. Great. I have never been so ashamed in my whole entire life. I time it carefully so that the bell is just ringing as we arrive at Kasia's primary, but still I get a whole bunch of smart comments on the way. Oi girl, your feet's all hairy. That's the new fashion, or what? By the time I get to St. Peter's and Paul's, I'm running late and I'm so mortified I'd like to crawl under a stone and stay there for the rest of the day. I kick off the fluffy slippers at the door and stuff them into my satchel, then sign in late at the desk and head for my locker, padding in my stockinged feet along deserted corridors draped with drooping paper chains. Forgotten something? Dan Carney is sitting on the bench outside Mr. Fisher's office, grinning. Like your shoes, maybe? Or is it a tradition that Polish girls go barefoot on December the 6th in thanks for the sweets St. Nicholas left them the night before? No, I tell him, it's not a tradition. Dan tips his head to one side, baffled. So, I sink down onto the bench beside Dan. We put our boots out last night, me and Kasia, I confess, and I filled them with sweets and cakes and fruit. Was Kasia pleased? Dan asks. I sigh. Not exactly. Our boots are stolen. No shoes for me or Kasia today, and no sweets, for sure. You're kidding, Dan asks, outraged. Nicked? That's low. That's very low. And you've got no other shoes for school? Seriously? I open my satchel just long enough to show the fringe of pink fluff. Ah, says Dan, my favourites. Well, don't let Fisher see them. He is not in a good mood. I was cheeky in class, plus I owe him 3 homeworks. So now I have to do my lessons here so Fisher can supervise. This school gets more like a prison every day. I don't know why I bother to stick around half the time. You don't, I say with a sad smile, half the time. Dan just shrugs and grins. Well, can you blame me? Seriously, Anya, what will you do about the boots? Will you be okay? I bite my lip and tilt my chin up, trying for a smile. I'd like to tell Dan about what's happening with the business, ask him for a hug, but I remember that he doesn't want a girlfriend, and if he did, it wouldn't be a girl with no boots, no future, a girl whose life is falling apart. I am the last thing Dan needs. Maybe he'd be better off with Lily after all. Stuff this, Dan growls, getting to his feet. Life is too short for biology notes and being polite to Fisher. I'm going to fix this, Anya. He pulls on a beanie, winds a stripy scarf around his neck, and throws me a big grin. See you later, okay? Dan, you can't just go. Watch me, he says. He walks down the corridor, pushes through the double doors and breaks into a sprint just as the school secretaries run out, yelling, to try and stop him. Mr. Fisher's door creaks open. Was that Dan Carney? He barks at me. Where is he? What's going on? Did you see him? Sorry, I say, smiling sweetly. I don't understand. So things are getting more dramatic for Anya. You'll have to tune in tomorrow to see what happens about the missing boots and whether Dan gets caught. But until then, please take care of yourselves, keep smiling, and in these strange days when we can't just give hugs to whoever we might feel like it, try and give a hug in a different way by doing something kind for somebody else. It might be someone in your family or a special friend, or it might be someone you don't even know all that well. But I think, when you read a story like Angel Cake, you see how important kindness can be for all of us. It's one of those things, it's like the thing that, it oils life and it helps the wheels of life go round much, much more painlessly, really. And I think we need that especially right now. So take care and keep smiling, and I will see you tomorrow for another chapter. See you. Bye.